right. Whoa, sorry! Sorry, Roger, got dyslexic.
Being blind, who cares? It's a bummer in certain ways. It is an inconvenience, as I've said, but
Blind people are just like everybody else. We just don't happen to see.
For me as a blind person, I'm probably doing things that I probably would have never done as a sighted person. That doesn't mean like I'm psyched to be blind, like and being blind is better than being sighted, but it's definitely led me in directions that I would have never gone to in any other way. I was born with this rare disease called retinoschisis. So I was losing bits and pieces of vision all through middle school. And by the time I walked into my freshman year in high school, I was totally blind. Like blind to the point where I couldn't see to like take a step.
when I was 17, I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. I knew since childhood that I wasn't the same as everybody else. And then at 21, they said, no, it's progressive, it's real, and you'll probably be blind by the time you're 30.
I was born without eyeballs, so, people always ask me, what do you see? And I'm like, I have no idea.
I lost my sight at about age 1. I don't remember seeing. My father was blind, so I didn't get any leniency when it came to being blind or feeling sorry for myself. And so I don't ever remember it being an issue. It was just how things were.
But there's always sort of this little dread underneath, like what's that going to be like, and maybe it really won't happen. And when I finally went blind, waking up, not being able to see, to take a step, I mean, literally it was like somebody hit me in the head with a sledgehammer. Like I was so stunned, like what am I going to do? So, you go through the pain, and you have to go through that stuff, this like terrible pain and frustration, like there's this brick wall in your way and you have no idea how to get through it. If you're resilient, you eventually work your way out of that.
Along the way, of course, there were things I would have liked to have been able to do. Playing sports, I would have loved to have been able to see my children do things as they grew up.
And so anyway, slowly, I came to terms with that I was going blind. And I guess over time I just thought, well, it is what it is. And the truth is, I don't think about not seeing.
I think it's important that I could see. I think that's really neat, to have been able to see the world, to know what faces look like, to know what mountains look like. Even skiing, like I remember watching Wide World of Sports, and it was like dun 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 dun, and the guy would come flying down the mountain, and I think he did like a catastrophic, fall down the mountain. I totally remember seeing that on TV.
I use my fingers a lot to determine what I'm doing, how much is there, where it is. Sometimes I worry I look like the Night of the Living Dead, like a zombie walking around with my hands, but it's not a problem. Being blind, everything can be done just differently. Everything takes a little longer perhaps, but it can be done.
I've been guiding blind skiers since 1989.
And I met Jeff Ulrich. I was at this ski clinic, and what I like about skiing with Jeff is that we do it pretty differently than other people, but it's very systematic.
Okay, I'm gonna just take over right through here. All right, okay. We're gonna have some long left turns onto this. Okay, all right. looks good from above. Let's go.
Eric and I have developed a unique guiding style with people like Eric who have no vision. He totally relies on the sound.
Sound's everything. I'm using my ears and what I'm feeling under my feet to give me all the feedback I have. So I'm listening to Jeff's voice. I'm also listening to where he is on the mountain.
By me being in front of Eric, what happens is now he is focused on looking down the hill. We've come up with a 3-part command. So our first part of our command is turn. So that's to get the turn started. The middle phase is A, and the third phase is the direction, either right or left. So it'll sound more like this. Turn A right, turn A left, and we can go from there.
Another aspect of blind skiing is the element of trust that exists between the skier and the skier's guide.
It's just a lot of talking, a lot of sharing, working together as a team in order to be able to accomplish, this goal.
Now give me your hands, and let's do this, because this is a good beginner. It's fairly gentle.
Yeah.
And it's about 60 to 75 yards wide.
Right to me. Looks good, right to me. Awesome, keep going.
It really should be a different sport because the way you have to work together. It's more like synchronized ballroom skiing. You couldn't say to a good blind skier, just go ski with anybody, because they would not ski well. They can only ski as well as their guide, and they can only ski as well as they can trust their guide.
Well, we've kind of got through here, Eric, is we've got just this kind of where we are. We've set it up into this wide open gully through here. So again, the only thing you're gonna hit or anything would be little soft piles of snow or some small bumps. We're gonna just let those people that are below us who are kind of struggling get up and get out of the way.
When he says, turn a left, I take it seriously because he's expecting me to do that in a certain amount of time. I don't want to do like a big wide turn. I try to step on it when he tells me what to do, because there's a reason why he's telling me to do that.
Whoa, sorry, Jeff. That's okay. We just got this road that we got to go across, and oh, that was a road.
Pretty quickly on the lift, you get a sense of, does this person know what he or she's about? Are they going to kill me? I've had a couple really crappy guides.
You're riding with the king.
I am riding with the king.
None of your other guides have any sandwiches named after him, do they?
No.
No.
I've been skiing with Gene Gamber for something like 10 years now. He is a fabulous guide, and I trust him with my life. Of course, I would have to.
It does take a commitment to build a relationship with somebody to be able to go ski.
The ski will naturally turn like this because of the hourglass shape.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I think I see.
Yeah. As good as you can.
So skiing is something that I've learned to do as a blind person. And it is hard and slow sometimes, the learning process, because I can't see a good skier. I have to actually feel what it's like. I mean, skiing is just exciting.
For blind people to get out to ski, it's a chance for them to experience speed on their own.
When you tuck and work yourself up to those speeds, that's something that has always been memorable.
It's the times when you're going at a good speed, but you're in control. You got your adrenaline flowing for all the right reasons, It's the feeling that every skier will understand, I don't think that's any different whether you're blind or sighted.
Yeah, I never did any sports really before I went blind, because I had this eye disease that if I got hit on my head, I'd go blind faster. So when I finally went blind, it was sort of gloves off and I could do whatever I wanted to.
Skiing gives me a kind of freedom that I never thought I would have.
It's true, like when you're on a bike, I'm on a tandem bike, well, I'm connected to the person, or when I'm climbing, I'm connected to the people around me. Yeah, but skiing, I am on my own.
It sets you free. If you're blind, you're sort of confined a lot in places There's nothing like skiing down a mountain, not attached to anyone or anything, and you're just in nature. It's fresh and it's large and open, and often you get to ski with the snow falling on you and the cold air. It's exhilarating, and it's just incredible.
I get a lot of exhilaration when I ski, and it's not from looking around and seeing, you know, the beautiful mountains and things like that. It's by sort of getting close these days to knowing what a ski turn should feel like.
Surely there has to be a lot more to skiing than just looking around.
Many skiers put a premium on the views. They ski because they like to see the big lodgepole trees or pine trees, and people describe these views to me, and indeed they sound gorgeous. But that's not all there is to skiing.
Vision's gone, so I have to rely on what I have, which is my ears, what I'm feeling under my feet and under my hands, and find ways of getting excitement and beauty from that.
I mean, skiing is the motion and the feel of going down the mountain.
I think getting to places where is tremendous silence. For example, there are runs out here that I love to ski on because I can get to places where I can stand still partway down a run and just be amazed at how quiet it is.
That has nothing to do with being able to see or not. You know, I bet if you closed your eyes and stuff, you might miss the scenery, but you'd still get the same thrill that you get out of skiing.
And I think there are lots of things that I probably enjoy about skiing that maybe a sighted person doesn't.
The real thrill for me is what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing, because that's really what I have to connect to the world with.
Excellent. Right here. All right. A little further. Yep. Yep. Wrong way.
Oh, you want that?
Okay.
Good dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What we're going to do is just the way you're pointed right now. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just going to go off of it. You're going to make one more step right there. There you go. Right there. Just make a left turn. Off this road.
Yeah.
Then you're just going to start to see it on your right going down that way, okay?
Okay.
Go.
Should I go?
Yep, right over here towards the knee. Good, right there. Let's start to ski it now.
Don't talk to me, baby. So don't say yeah.
So yeah, I like to try different sports, and all of them come down to this idea of thinking creatively through barriers and partnering with the right people, the right kind of experts who can help you do that.
It becomes a matter of many, many workarounds and figuring out a way to do it.
I believe that your circumstances really don't limit your activities. It's your attitude. And if you have a positive, go for it attitude, just about anything is possible. It's about having confidence in yourself and determination, perseverance, stubbornness, whatever you want to call it. You got to go for what appeals to you.
A commitment to trying to challenge yourself, and through challenging yourself, growing and evolving all the time in your life, not allowing yourself to get stagnant.
I've always been a little reluctant to use the phrase overcome, because if I overcame not seeing, then I would see. But there are many, many ways to compensate for not seeing. And that evens up the playing field a lot more than people would often think.
I think it's sort of changing your approach to adversity so that the obstacles that you have in your life, they're not necessarily the things that crush you, but they're things that when you problem solve your way through them with the right people and you get through them, it sort of releases this energy and propels you to new places in your life.
The best thing I could say is that you're really not going to get much of anywhere if you're going to live life being timid. You've simply got to let go at some point and take on some increased challenges if you want to live life more fully. I think that you cannot simply sit back and always say it can't be done because I'm blind or because I didn't have this experience or have that experience.
So there's very little in this world that anybody can't do once their mind is set to do it.